Bing, 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 bing. Oh, okay, that was that was faster than I was expecting. Hello, everyone. We're just waiting. Just waiting a little bit for everyone to show up. I know this is a sudden stream, but I just wanted to do something without having too much time to think. And I realized Minotaur Hotel have hold on. I know, oh, it's you, Diego. Hello, Diego. How are you doing today? Hello, Diego. How are you doing today? Probably wasn't a really good accent, but you know, I go with what I want to go with. There we go. Minotaur Hotel. Sorry, I'm just setting things up. This was kind of unexpected before about an hour ago. Visualnovel. Just posting on the lovely grapevine called Twitter. The lovely social drama of Twitter. And YouTuber. Oh no. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you're doing all right. I'm doing okay too. I have a few things on my mind, but for the most part, I'm doing okay. I gotta work today. That's a bummer. Well, let me rephrase that. It's a bummer because of the job I work at, but not actually having a job. Even though a lot of places are hiring right now. I've noticed a lot of places are hiring lately. And I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of places. A lot of places right now. Even though most of them I think are like minimum wage jobs though. I guess a lot of people don't want to do those jobs anymore. Or something. I don't know. Anyway. I'm going to give everyone about another minute or two to show up before I start the stream. So just sit back, relax, enjoy. I mean, I don't know why. I still post videos. You can always check out the other videos. I just don't do live streams as much. Not because I don't want to. It's just that I don't really have the time anymore. I'm busy usually trying to make videos. That's why you haven't. I don't know if you follow me on Twitch. That's why I haven't been on Twitch lately. I've just been trying to find a good time to sit down and stream. Editing's a little bit easier because I have days to work on it. Streaming, I have to sit down for a set amount of time and stream, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but you know, I like streaming. I want to get back into it. It's just been a matter of actually making time. So sorry about that. I'll try to do more when I can though. I have a few one-off streams or videos I wanted to do in here. I was thinking about giving more Natsu a try, but then I was like, if I play that, I can't stream it because there's stuff I'm not gonna say it, but there's certain aspects of that game that I can't stream because I would have to completely skip certain scenes, and I don't believe that game has a skip option. Familiar Travels, I haven't recorded the footage yet. I probably won't have a video up for that until the end of this week. I'm working on another video. I said in my last video, which was what can I? Roman's Christmas. I'm working on a different. I'm working on a review video for a TV show that just came out. I have some footage, but I still need to actually record my a commentary about it. So probably not till the end of this week. I'll probably have a Familiar Travels video up. All right, how long have we been waiting? Because I'm gonna probably give it about another. It's been 6 minutes. I guess we could start. I feel like people have come already. I feel like people who have already started coming in, so I'm gonna probably get started. Just make sure I got everything set up real quick. Okay, we're good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Minotaur Hotel with your host Fallenwolf. Ooh, sorry. It's been a little while since I've played this. I thought it was longer than that. I looked, apparently the last stream for Minotaur Hotel has been 2 months. I thought it was longer than that, honestly. But thankfully it hasn't. It's not been too bad. Like I said before, I really do enjoy this VN. It reads more like a story than an actual visual novel. And it's good. It's really good. It's just, I haven't really had time. I haven't really had a lot of time. It's still one of my few stream only VNs I'm playing, or games I'm playing. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get through a little bit today. Not gonna be as long of a stream as usual. It'll probably be about around 2 hours. And hopefully we'll see what happens. Last time we left off, Astrian got big. I mean, he got freaking huge. He got really, really big, and I was very shocked by it. If you want to see my reaction to that, you could watch the previous stream, which is the last stream of this name that had a part number to it. Because like I said, with YouTube's algorithm going on, I no longer give part numbers to my titles. I just give it a title and then tell you what VN I'm playing at the end of it. So, the Beast is another one. The Beast is another one I'm gonna get back into because you know, one of my friends is making that, and I feel bad, but like I said, it's I will try to get to it as soon as I can. Like I said, I don't have enough time. I don't really have enough time in the day to just, believe me, if I had enough time, I would stream and make videos every day. I don't, plain and simple, I don't have the time for it. Not to mention that I'm getting back into my writing, so I just don't have the time to do it. Like I said, if I didn't have a full-time job, or this was my full-time job, trust me, I'd be making videos all the time. I enjoy making videos, and I enjoy streaming. It's just getting enough rest and going to a full-time job it's a little difficult to fit this in. But I try. I'm trying to figure things out. Oh, I forgot to post something real quick in a group. Okay, now we're ready. Now we're officially ready. So let us get started right on this. A night rages and cheers only for a short while. Time always takes its due. Still, they had no grief at all. They danced and drank, laughed and sang until their voices grew hoarse and eyes dimmed. And further, they celebrated as if somehow a victory could be made eternal if it burned bright enough. Sitting at the sidelines of the lounge, surrounded by mankind, but locked inside his mind, the Minotaur lost himself in thought. Such a human thing. Did the guest of the master perhaps know it? The archaic ritual taught by his old friend? Celebrate and live for a whole night. Do not cease until your back burns out all its weight, and under no circumstance allow the bonfire to go out. Then take a handful of embers, grayed and crumbling on the outside, but still harboring a red heart. Pour a stream of your finest wine, saved from the festivities, to kill the night's fire. Old Old Farnius. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm not good with these. These are all like old Greek names. I'm not good with these names, but that's fine. Swore he overheard it during a priestess's initiation when she was instructed on the mystery of Crete's old goddess. The ritual, he said, could make a moment everlasting. It would leave demons behind, a memory of the night etched on the land and lodged in the mind of its witnesses. He said the ember's last thread of smoke would be gathered by prayers, Zeus's daughters, and be brought to the Greek graces, or the fates, or the hours for their weaving. The more he explained, the looser his conception of the ceremony became. What silly nonsense, Astrian thought then. Back in Crete, he's just saying it to cheer me up again. But the Minotaur did steal a cup of his father's wine, and together they drowned the embers, hand-picked from the basin in the courtyard where the bonfire had raged. He never believed such a ritual could work. He knew a handful of mysteries himself, and none were as simple as innocent as that. Even in their kindest moments, the old gods charged in blood. But still he did it, because regardless of the gods, it made nights unforgettable in his mind. Sometimes raw belief, lacking in any form of binding magic, is enough to make something true. That was long ago. He had witnessed so many festivities in all these centuries as a hotel's keeper. Each one pushed him further towards believing that Parnius' ritual was merely a manifestation of humanity's drive to find immortality. It is only human to seek eternity, the exquisite lie that the flow of time can be stopped, trapping oneself in a bubble no tragedy can burst. Farnios wished for the mercy in Crete thousands of years ago, when humanity yearns for it still. Believing in such old rituals from a time whose very gods have gone missing, silly nonsense, bland indulgence. It's a good thing I have the SFW version playing, because I got the feeling if I didn't have the SFW censored version playing, we would see something, which YouTube now is really getting very, very strict with that. I remind people, that's why there's a lot of video ideas I have in mind to play some do some one-off videos, but I mean one-off videos in the sense of playing game, not one-off videos like a personal subjects I'm gonna do. But I'm worried about doing them because YouTube's really been, cracking the whip, so to say. So I'm a little worried. I still might do the video though. I really do want to give More Natsu a try, because it's a classic furry staple, and I kind of want to try it. I just have to be really, really careful with it, and I have to make sure if I do it, I skip certain scenes, because I don't want YouTube to, shut my channel down. So, we'll see. It's an idea in mind. It's a small idea in mind, just thinking about it. Still that night after the concert, the Minotaur went to bed with his hands covered in ashes. What an exquisite time they had. The fatigue of it all was catching up to him. A tension in his chest made the room spin around him. His fingertips were freezing. He did not notice when it happened, but pulling a single lungful of air became a laborious task. Astrian knew this too well. Time, after all, demands his due, and for every joy, a greater sorrow is sure to follow. He drew a breath. A prisoner such as him was not allowed happiness. His mind told him this even as he remembered the pleasantness of this evening. He drew a breath. He forgot that he was meaning to sleep, forgot to close his eyes. The Minotaur stared at the ceiling. His thoughts became half-thoughts, and the tightness in his chest became a heaviness in his shoulders and a tension in his hands. He drew a breath. A price must be paid. There is always a catch. The sheets around him bunched up in the valleys and peaks. Disquiet fought against the weariness. He drew a breath. Restless sleep overtook him while he felt too heavy to move. A sullen tiredness in mind, deeper than sleep, pulled him into the valley of his sheets. Whispers about his nature, words he had not allowed himself to mutter for nearly a century now. But another memory fluttered, that of Mark's embrace. The Minotaur's nose on his head, that pacifying warmth they shared. Even this, though, is covered with the worries of... Was it his place too? Was he allowed? Too soon or sudden overstepping boundaries? He always unwanted now. Oh, I think Astrian's getting I think Astrian's getting feelings for the MC. I just kind of getting a little bit of hints of that. It's gonna be interesting. I feel so bad too. I don't know how to describe it, but like I feel so bad for Astrian. It's hard for me to want the MC to be romantically involved with him, but at the same time, I feel like Astrian deserves some sort of happiness. It's like, oh, it's really hard for me to feel about. Oh, really quickly, this is I was just thinking about something. There's another game I'm gonna be giving a try. I have Xbox Game Pass, which is fantastic, by the way. If you don't have it, you should get it now. You can get 3 months for $1 right now. Really good deal. Just to let you know, this video obviously is not this video is not sponsored by Xbox. And can you imagine this video being sponsored by Xbox? It's not sponsored by Xbox, or let me phrase it, Microsoft in any way. But I have Xbox Game Pass, and there was a game that came out called Backbone that's a very small indie game. It gives me some small Black Sad vibes, and I'm definitely going to be playing that on this channel. But it's going to be videos. I'm not going to be streaming it. I'm going to be splitting up into videos. I hear it's not that long anyway, which was one of the negatives in the review, few bit of reviews I watched. I looked at a few reviews, but I haven't I looked at a few reviews, but I haven't actually looked at any spoilers, thankfully. But that's another game. I would definitely be playing Backbone. It looked really good, and I'm excited. And I definitely, when I get time, probably not this week, maybe next week, I'll start recording footage for that. And you should check it out if you have Xbox. It's completely free on Xbox Game Pass right now. It's a brand new game for Xbox Game Pass, so you can't lose. Morning cracked his skull open, but no dream slipped out in a sprint. Oh, Diego, I'm sorry to hear that. You over 2 weeks. Did you have the virus, or was it just you were just sick? Because regardless, either one, I hope that I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better, hopefully. The bedroom seemed just the same as it had always been, so cramped it threatened to crush him. Walls so white they burned his eyes, and shelves decorated with Jean-Marie's bug-eyed carvings. He remembered to breathe and bit his tongue. The pain came without hurry, dull and throbbing. But the Minotaur's eyes felt different, as if overnight they skipped autumn and dove into winter. If the mind were a muscle, he would be hobbling about, aching with overwork. Astrian told himself to look to the door, but didn't. Stared up, told himself to look toward the door frame. Remember to breathe, prayed the hybrid. He drew a breath, told himself to get up but didn't. He clutched his hands, felt nails sinking into his palm. There were obocidin hunks tied to his limbs, waist, eyes. Each even fold of his brain was weighed down with hooks. If the gods had sent him a shred of mercy, such weight could have crushed him entirely and ended his existence. But they made him strong and resilient to bear the load. This vessel was not made to break, he knew, even if the creatures of this realm were so eager to try. The only movement made as he finally drew his eyes to the side was an aimless clutching and unclutching of hands. There had been too many times over his everlasting existence when Astrian's spirit had felt emptied of vigor or substance like this. At least a handful of times per year for the last 2 millennia, without fail, although time became mushier inside the cold room. But it had not always been the case. He couldn't afford such bland indulgence when monsters chased him. Perhaps it was a jest from the gods themselves. He remembered to breathe. When a human came who sought to end his trials, yet another punishment came, this time from his own mind. But enough dawdling, little star. You must rise again regardless. There was a delay between commanding his body to move and having it muster the will to obey. He pushed himself up with the clumsiness of a marionette, willing against an inertia in his brain. There was an amount of breathing room between each limb's movements to get himself up, as if all the force gained from a night of sleep is required. He gazes at the mirror. Welcome back to your old self, little star. Oh wow, that was a nice transition. Are you ready to see the internet? Witness the latest creation of human ingenuity. They never stopped, these sharp-eyed humans, but intricate creations their fine fingers craft. Ashton looked at his own hand, at the knobbly knuckles and thick nails, each knot tied with rough, ragged rope. Yes, of course. Great. This is a tablet. It's kind of a computer that uses touch controls. By which I mean you just tap on the screen. It's very intuitive. I can't see anything. Am I doing it wrong? No, it's fine. I haven't unlocked it yet. Here, I just press this button and... I took the liberty of setting up for you. Knowing you have a hard time with fine movements, I made sure things would be big and easy to tap. Do you think these are large enough? I can expand the icons more still. Thank you, sir. This is adequate. Although I hope I didn't impose on you a chore. Was setting it up difficult? Not at all. Tablets all come with accessibility settings. Tailoring it to your needs is a trivial matter. Accessibility. Only humans could fathom such a thing. The gods had no love or care for Hephaestus and his imperfections. Oh, that is very kind of them, thinking about the disgracefully uncoordinated like me. The man looks down to the hybrid. Ashton gazes at his eyes. He never understood why people had such a fascination for the color of each other's irises. To him, the white surrounding them was much more enthralling. Nature had been kind to him in that regard, at least. Rather than the beady blackness of a cow's eyes, he had been blessed with a fine pair of very human ones, whites and all. Perhaps it was something in the way Mark's eyes hesitated as he searched for words. Or maybe it was the Minotaur's brain slipping up for a second. Hello, Adonis. How are you doing today? Hello, Adonis Alistar. Did you know, funnily enough, that Alistar is also the name of a popular fictional Minotaur? Another popular fictional Minotaur from a game called League of Legends, which is actually not so good anymore. I stopped playing. I used to play League of Legends for years. I stopped playing for one when I realized that it's almost impossible to get up in ranked unless you have a team, and two, there was a lot of bigotry, racism, and homophobia on League of Legends, to put it mildly. So I kind of just stopped playing. But before Mark could speak, the Minotaur felt a few centuries worth of age lifting from his back. I wouldn't put it like that. Lots of people have injuries or special needs, but regardless of that, everyone gets old someday. We will all need the help. He chewed on it. The tone was kind. The master spoke almost like singing. But as the words were sewed together, they became thorny. Astrian bit his lip. Was he old, or perhaps old in the same sense that a human could be? His body was the best it had been in 80 years, but all that time spent in the cold room never left him as tired as this. It was a kind of exhaustion that made even opening one's eyes an insurmountable task. Oh, Meiko! Okay, well, I hope you enjoy yourself, Diego, when you go for the summer. How long are you going to be going for? Old or crippled, the Minotaur needed this accessibility invention. Do I have special needs, or am I just old? Astrian mumbled it. His tongue felt bloated today. He had to grind his teeth to stop it from peeking out of his mouth. The master could not distinguish what he said. Sorry, what did you say? Moo. The master's eyes scrutinized him. They appreciate every feature of his face, as if trying to glimpse into the Minotaur's mind. His heart skips a beat. Will he realize how disposable a toy Astrian is? The hybrid cannot say what would come next, but it must be better than this feeling of being suspended and waiting for trial. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy yourself, Diego. That sounds really nice. I hope you have a good time. And what you said earlier in the chat, it seemed like you probably need a little vacation. I mean, we all need a little vacation. Trust me, I know that feeling all too well. Sometimes, when being away from home helps a lot. Sometimes. Are you feeling well, Astrian? You seem a bit distressed today. Astrian looks away and draws a breath. His chest tightens and he opens his mouth, leaves it hanging. in fact, as what he meant to say escapes him. He blinks, lets his eyelids fall as he exhales. It's so hard thinking with all those hooks on his brain. He has to string every word together, then break it all down into mouth movements, exhales and inhales, glances and hand gestures. And the delay is there, making it all worse. A gap as the sea is deep and just as dark. But when he closes his eyes and allows himself to dream, images flow like water from a spring. The master felt warm last night. Hugging him was not the trial the Minotaur expected. His mind went silent as they stayed locked together in the dark. Astrian nuzzled his nose on the top of Mark's head. He did not recoil. While it lasted, Astrian did not think of how awkward his hands could be, closing all of its fingers together. It stopped being an uncoordinated claw. It became just a hand. When he readjusted his legs, he didn't even hear the clop of his hooves. All the noises eating away at the edges quieted down, muffled by velvet. The master was generous. He went through great lengths to get the wine, and what did he gain from it? Astrian bites his tongue. Perhaps some more trust is warranted. The Minotaur opened his mouth and drew a breath. The images sprung forth, and words chained themselves together. By the gods, I should tell him that it feels like I'm turning to stone. Mark must know what it means and what I should do. Astrian? But there must be a catch to him. There always is one. Are you okay? But regardless, he is not unkind. If I am to serve him and to perform this duty well, perhaps he knows how I could be made better. I should tell him. A hand warms the Minotaur's forearm. You don't seem too well. The Minotaur looks up to the human. His eyes are unmoving, not afraid or sad, but looking through the master as if trying to focus on his face was too difficult to command. The Minotaur draws a breath and speaks before a kinder part of his mind can take control. I love how I yawned before this line. I'm just struggling to wake up. Oh, it's true. We haven't eaten anything yet. How about I teach you some of the basics and then I go down to get last night's leftovers? I had some of the appetizers in the lounge's fridge. Well, what do you mean, Diego? I mean, I probably don't live close to you. I'm not sure what you mean by hanging out. Because I'm like, I live kind of far away, and I don't really have any way to get anywhere right now. I don't have a car. So, Astrian grunts, not really listening, just asserting his vague and ever-present argument to whatever the master has to say. Agreement, sorry. I messed up the word. Okay, so just recapping. With the computer, we can access the internet and find all sorts of fun stuff. Do you remember what the internet is? A question. Astrian's eyes shift. The internet. Yes, pull the string. Pull the words from your mind and speak. It's a way to... It's a way to get knowledge very quickly. It would take months for a book or letter to be delivered, but with the internet, it won't take long. Did I get it right? Yep, let's start then. Now, I want you to tap on that icon on the top left corner. Could you do that for me? Yep, just tap it with a finger. That's right, there's no mystery to it, just tap, tap. Okay, like this? The face. So, what do you want to search first? I don't know. How do I tell it what I want to know? Just tap here, in this little white bar, and... Oh yeah, see, Diego, there's no way I could get there. I'm sorry, I would totally love to hang out with you, but Yeah, I'm just... Right now, I don't have a car. Like, that's one of the big things right now. I don't really have a car, so it's really hard for me to get anywhere that's outside of my state. Or at least not, like, bordering my state, so... I live in New Jersey, by the way. Just tap here in this little white bar, and now the keyboard will pop up. I don't give any more information to my state, because I don't feel comfortable with that, but... On the internet, I mean. These symbols, are they normal? What do you mean? The keyboard should show the alphabet. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Oh no, I think I broke it. What? No way, you haven't done anything wrong. Is my finger bad? Did I touch it wrong? The screen looks normal to me. The Minotaur glares at the screen, trying to make sense of all the symbols, what odd lines they are, but they do awaken a sense of familiarity. His brain itches as it struggles to connect together an ancient mind with more recent knowledge. His ears flick, hears a racket of metal mechanisms tick-tacking and ringing down at the cramped bedrock. It was coming to him, the name of the machine, a writer, a typewriter. They had been such an issue, the letters themselves had no meaning, no soul behind them. The hotel's translation could do nothing to impose order. During all the millennia, the Minotaur had spoken the language of his people, without care to learn whatever new language was the fad at the time. Although, to be more precise, for a good few centuries, he had evolved into the habit of making new words, so much so that his old Minoh had become quite unlike what he had spoken as a child. But it all changed when typewriters were invented. The letters alone eluded him. He had to learn other languages and alphabets then. So this is a typewriter. The hotel doesn't like them. Huh? Why is that? It only understands meaning and words, not what they are made of. It all breaks down. Oh, is there something I could do then? I could read and type for you. It wouldn't be an issue. He drew a breath. The more he looked at the alphabet, how similar it was to what the Greeks invented, the less he felt the hooks on his brain. Well, Diego, you don't have to do that. I'm a little busy right now. I would have to plan something out like that. I appreciate the gesture, but like, I'd have to. That's stuff that would have to. I'd have to plan out. He drew a breath. The more he looked at the alphabet, how similar it was to what the Greeks invented, the less he... Oh, wait, I just read that. I can remember the letters. The words, too. He tapped the screen. He meant to press the O, but it tapped the P instead. An old annoyance. Simpler days returned to his mind, when Jean-Marie was still alive, and they were drafting contracts down at the bedrock. He never mastered the typewriter, but he was decent enough to use it. Slowly, he could conquer it again. I can face this. Marketing is staring at the Minotaur. Is that a twinge of worry? Then it grows soft. His voice, as soon as it comes out, sounds like velvet. Of course you can. You've kept this hotel running for so long. Memorizing an alphabet won't be hard for you. Excuse me? What did you say? You've kept this place up and running, right? Masters came and went, but you were the constant. You're very competent and hard-working. That's clear to me. Hard-working. The gods had made him strong to carry a load no regular man could. He was a beast of burden, yes, Astrian could take pride in that. You deal with the guests, manage check-ins and check-outs, repair the bedrooms, even cook if necessary, and last night you went as far as providing entertainment. We've just reopened the hotel and it's already doing so well. In no small part thanks to you. Is memorizing an alphabet a difficult task to someone as quick-witted as you? The hotel is doing well, the Minotaur thought. In any other context, bitter thoughts would pop into his mind. No, the hotel is still a shell of its former self. We're only housing a dozen or two guests. We barely have any staff. But when it came to this subject, his mind was unclouded. Yes, the hotel was doing well. Repairing such a big place in less than 2 weeks was nothing short of a miracle. Guests coming around now wouldn't even imagine the place had been left in ruins for 80 years. This was his one good thing. Whatever violence and disgrace the gods saw it fit to impose on him came twofold as blessings for his home. He would serve well if it meant the prosperity of this one good thing. Oh, he's got determined face! Oh, I gotta save that. Oh, he's got a determined face. Oh, I'm so happy for him. I love the fact he got so determined when Mark was, well, the MC, I called him Mark, obviously. It's so nice when Mark was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, of course you can do it. It's like, this is easy for you. And after he's like, yeah, I can do it. I'm like, oh, it's so cute. I am proud of the hotel. The Minotaur's voice rumbled, followed by a harsh snort and flicker of his ears. As you well should. Is that an order? Consider it a friend's suggestion and a partner's recommendation. Partner? Oh, why did he use that word? Why did you use that word? Why did you say that name? No, why did you, MC, why did you use that word? Partner, what a peculiar word. Astrian glanced to the side. He had to string every command together. He could feel his eyeballs dragging inside their sockets. See ya, Diego, and have a beautiful rest of your day. He drew a breath, then dug his nails on the palm of his hands. Partner. Varnavas used to call him that back in Crete, all the way back until that night. A white bird flying off under the moonlight, the Minotaur aimed his bow and drew the string. It was not too different from plucking his lyre, that last tension before letting go. Varnius for that everlasting friend, but first of all for his brother, intrepid, Indragus, he set the arrow loose. Partner, they were hunting together that night, but by the end of it, Varnius called him something else, and that was the last they saw of each other. But at times it felt like that this master was Varnius, or Andragio's ghost given flesh. They all had such honeyed tongues. We are business partners, aren't we? We are in this together. Ashley had returned from his haze. I am afraid that is not something the hotel or the valley would ever be willing to recognize. My sentence, after all, contracts that stray too far from treating me as a prisoner would be ineffective. What do you mean by that exactly? The master can command the realm to do his bidding, but there are rules and principles that stand above. If you try to pass a contract or command that disregards them, your order will not become binding. The same way you cannot summon currency, you cannot sign an order saying I am your equal. That would be against the labyrinth's principles. So, I can't be your business partner. As far as the labyrinth is concerned, that is just not possible. Mark looks off to the side, lost in thought. Do we really need a contract for this? Come on now, Astrian. Astrian, we don't need a contract. We don't need a contract for you to be our partner. We are going to go with the really need contract. Now, that is quite a puzzle. But does it really matter what the labyrinth thinks or wants? If I tell people you are my partner and that's objectively how we work together, doesn't that make us partners? What bold ideas. The Minotaur feels the hummingbirds pricking at the back of his skull. He grits his teeth and Mark notices. But it would seem we got sidetracked. I was supposed to show you the internet. Yes, sir. So tap here. We can begin with a few searches. I'm sure there's a lot you want to know about the outside world. Again, the peculiar alphabet popped on the screen. This time, however, it was stringed into stubborn words that didn't bend to the realm's translation. But they weren't unfamiliar. Memories sparked, loose strings tied into knots. The hotel's translation isn't working. That's weird. I can read it just fine. Although, I suppose it's because I already speak English. I wouldn't notice anything going wrong. Is this an issue? English? No, I can read it. I learned it after we started using typewriters. I can read it. I'll just need a minute to familiarize myself. Yeah, what language have you been speaking so far? My language? Oh boy, what does that mean? It's my language. It was Cretan. It used to be. But with time, if everything gets translated, then I can tinker with it and make it my own. I had a hard time with certain sounds, so I just changed it, made it however it felt right. So, it used to be Minoh, but it's not anymore. It's my language. My language. Rough, bullish lips bending in odd angles, a tongue too long and thick. During the day, his wet nurse taught him the words, repeating each one 100 times. A prince must speak well, she said. Every other week, his mother would spend the night with him. Her eyes wandered, crawled up at the ceiling, and her little limp-wristed hands grasped about like a baby's. She spoke as if her mouth was always full of pebbles. Her syllables would blur together. The vowels stirred and were washed away by her accent. Father said it was her madness speaking. The witness said she came from a godly place beyond the sea, and that was their accent. Astrian drank every precious moment with his mother, including her slurred song. He could tell if his accent came from his bestial... He couldn't tell, I think that's maybe... He couldn't tell if his accent came from his bestial form or from her influence. But here in the labyrinth, he let it go. Took bits and pieces from people all over the centuries, stitched together something rough, shoddy, and perfect. I made my own language. I see. I wasn't expecting that. But can you read English just fine? If not, I can help you. Master shouldn't worry. Yes, I'm remembering. Now, what should I do next? We can start by searching for something you want to know. Try typing it. What you are curious about. Yes, sir. To take a glimpse of the outside world, a few things did come to mind. He had thought about them so much during these decades. Oh, we have humanities. So, I'm going for the humanities option. I'm not even gonna save for this because I'm gonna use every chance I get to use my my career. I'm gonna use humanities. Astrian's right index fingers tap away. B-O-O-K-S. You want some reading material? Yes, I recall you mentioned that I could get many books quickly from the internet. How exactly is that done? You instruct them to tap at one of the ebooks marketplaces showing in the search results. There, browse around and tell me what books you want. I'll get them for you. You mean I could get more than one? Of course. Oh my gosh, that face! Astrid was like a little kid. I mean, when they have like candy, and it's like, you mean I could get more than one? It's like, oh, Astrid's adorable. See what I mean? I can't see him as that kind of person. It's hard to look at him as a kind of person. Like, it's like, I was like, oh, it's so cute. Of course, as many as you want. The Minotaur looks down at the screen. His ears flick as if flies buzzed around him. But if I get more than one, will I neglect one over the other? If I get a few, maybe I'll end up squandering them. Not too much, Jason. We're still... I mean, mostly we've just been having a conversation with Astrian. Currently, we're having an internet lesson with Astrian about how the internet works and all that other fun stuff. Come on, Ghosty. You know I'll try to get to the beast when I can. It's taking me I'll try to get to it when I can. You come on, Ghosty. You know I've been going through some stuff. I'm dealing with a lot and work and other things right now. Maybe, but haven't you earned a bit of excess? Excuse me? A little comfort is what I'm saying. You've worked so hard lately. Getting at least a few books is a well-earned reward. Oh, Master really thinks so? That I deserve a reward? Of course. Now go on, look around and see what you like. The Minotaur obeys, and his search bears bountiful fruit. Over the early 20th century, he heard tales of Walt Whitman's poetry, a curiosity no master ever saw fit to approve. He selects a collection of his works and has then recommended Robert Frost's works. A few more options from the early 20th century are displayed, but the Minotaur is inspired by a touch of adventure. He seeks a vision of the current world. He taps on an unassuming book whose cover shows a grainy drawing of a volcano. Autobiography of Red by Annie Carrison. The summary alone entrails him. He looks at the screen as if a wave of nostalgia overtakes his senses. Sorry, what's that? Oh, I hate yawning. This is about Geryon. Who? He was my cousin. Distantly related. We met in Hades. We lived together as roommates. Oh, Geryon. A story about you. What a gift. Can I have this one too, Master? Of course, as many books as you want. This is enough. If I pick any more, then for sure I will forget their value. Thank you, Master. You are welcome. Give me the tablet for a minute. I'll finish things up. After buying the books and demoing them, you gave it back to the Minotaur. Now, is there anything else you'd like to look up on the internet? What do we search? Oh, we get to do all of them. Okay, I guess we'll do My Homeland Crete. I wonder how Crete is doing nowadays. The Palace of Konosis was discovered in the late 1800s and excavated in the early 1900s. So, they found it. So little of it is left, but that's it. It's where I grew up. This courtyard, when I was a child, I used to play here with my brother, Andragos. How was it living back then? It was nice, I suppose, if you're wondering about all the modern comforts, running water, electricity. We didn't have any of that. But we lived well, better than most. I even had a room of my own. I know few children from that time could say the same. I had a bodyguard to keep me safe. We'd stick together always. Although that might not be the best way to put it, he was only some 7 years older than me when he became my, shall we say, guardian. I must have been 4 years old. My time in the palace was quite enjoyable, in no small part thanks to him. His name was Parnios. But make no mistake, I did have responsibilities. I performed ceremonial duties very often. Farnios always gave me company, and Andragos would too when his obligations allowed. I wonder what else I could find in this internet. Alright, last one. Master John Marie's birthplace. There is a place I've been very curious about for quite a while now. Perhaps you've heard of it. The region of Bardox? That name rings a bell. Yes, it is a region of France? Yes, I believe it is. Now, what will your internet tell me about it? France's most prominent winemaking region. Huh. I suppose Master John Marie was not bragging. His family's wine must have been quite remarkable. It was captured by Germans during World War II. Oh, I suppose that makes sense. But it seems to be doing quite well now. That is a relief. Did Jean Marie come from this region? Yes, it's what he used to call his ancestral homeland. He was a patriot. No land on earth was as beautiful and noble as his. He couldn't bear to hear of France's situation in the war. No amount of pleading could stop him from going. The Minotaur could still feel it. The ringing inside his head from when Jean Marie died. And the rest, I suppose, is history. I wonder what it must feel like walking through one of these vineyards. It must be refreshing. Sun on your back, maybe a chilly wind. I would like to be on your team. What team are you talking about, what team are you talking about? Oh, Mr. Lionwing 1220. Also, hello, welcome to my channel. I think you're new. I hope you enjoy yourself. But I'm curious to know what you mean about being on your team. It must be refreshing. Sun on your back, maybe a chilly wind cutting through the grapevines, leaves brushing against your arms. I could use some of that. We could make one then. How about it? Our very own vineyard? What? But why? Because I can just make things pop into existence. Why not use it for something fun and nice like that? Ah, my good lord. If only things were so simple. It would be quite the tricky affair, I'm afraid. Why? What's stopping us? Contracts for starters. This land is not hospitable for life. Plus that would distract us too much from our mission in the hotels. Wouldn't it? I suppose you are right. I'm waiting for the tragedy to happen because it's starting to feel more like the MC is starting to get a little too relaxed. They're like, an adventure team. I know Goofball, my favorite, is Tennis Ace. Oh, Tennis Ace. Damn, that brings me back to my early VN days. I gotta go back to that. I think the thing is, though, I think if I go back to that VN, I will start from scratch. I think I would go back from scratch. Do people want to see me go back to Tennis Ace? I'm gonna be honest real quick. I'm gonna have a very, very serious wolf moment here. One of the reasons I stopped playing it was because the tennis is so intricate, integral to the story, And I don't really care for watching tennis. I like playing tennis and badminton. I don't care to really watch it. And it's a big part of the story. Now, I don't care about the fact that the main character, oh my gosh, I forgot their name already. I don't care, in fact, that all the main characters have something to do with tennis. That doesn't bother me at all. It was the very, very long tennis scenes that made me feel very tired. The first time I played it on stream, I was actually getting sleepy recording because I think it was at least half an hour of me just talking about tennis. And again, I'm a person that I don't mind playing sports. I just don't like watching sports. Like, I don't like watching football. It's really hard for me to watch football compared to playing football. It's really hard for me. Well, basketball I don't like at all. I've never been a fan of basketball. I don't really care for basketball. Oh, Adastra I love. Adastra didn't have anything like that. I loved Adastra. Adastra was a fantastic VN to me. I will admit, though, I think it has issues, and I'm not going to sit there and say it's one of the best VNs ever made. There's a lot of people that say it's like the best VN ever made, and honestly, I liked Echo so far more than I liked Adastra. I think Adastra's good, but I liked Echo more. I think my issue with Adastra was there was a lot of pacing issues, in my opinion. There was a lot of, and I'm not going to go on a rant about it because, hey, give credit. I'm not going to be jealous or anything. Hey, good job on all the people that worked on Adastra. Good job to the people that are working on the sequel or mid-equal, whatever it's called. But there was a lot of pacing issues with it that I didn't care for towards the last third of the story. And I do, but I mean, have I ever heard of a famous narrator named Blade Lloyd? I don't know, how do you say his name? Blade Lloyd? Blade Lloyd? I don't know. I don't know. Yes, I do know that person. I think I do. They make YouTube videos, right? I think, like, YouTube videos. I think they do VNs. Has a very manly voice. Okay, I'm glad you get what I mean, Jason. Like, don't get me wrong, Adastra wasn't a bad VN. I don't think it was bad. It's, for some reason, that VN rubbed people for some reason, that VN, Adastra rubs people the wrong way. Either people seem like they love or hate it. There's no in between. For me, it was in between. I liked it, but I saw a lot of it. I could understand people's issues with it. I can see people's issues with it, and I'm going to say I don't think it's one of the best VNs ever made. Like some people, like either some people seem to think it's one of the best VNs ever made, or seem to think it's not quite one of the worst, but but a bad VN. And I think it's good. I think it has flaws though, and I think it could have been done better. And again, if you wanna jump down my throat and say like, oh, but Fallenwolf, you're not a VN creator. You don't know anything about that stuff. I write stories. Just to let you know, I do write short stories, and I read a lot of old classical books, so I like to think I know a little bit about plot and pacing and character development. And like I said, that VN wasn't bad. If one thing I can say for certainty that did with near perfection was the romance between Amicus and the MC, which their canon name's Marco. Marco and Amicus was done brilliantly. You could feel the chemistry between the two of them, and you could feel the romance between the two of them. I didn't like, but yes, the end was sad. I actually had tears in my eyes. I had legitimate tears. I don't really cry that much anymore, like at least for, like fiction. Oh yeah, absolutely. Major Minor is a hack job. Outright gonna say it. Major Minor is a hack job in a nutshell. And the fact that creator somehow managed to make another VN perplexes me. The fact that VN Major Minor did so well perplexes me, because it is not good in any way. The art is weird. The art is so off-putting. The design of characters is generic furry OC central. Generic OC furry central is, and the story I don't understand. Yeah, yes. I can understand Nintendo. I think having a tragic, I think that was a story that would have done better with tragic, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say something very controversial, and people are going to get mad at me for it, but I don't care. They probably resurrected the MC because they knew they wanted to have a sequel, and they knew if they resurrected the MC, they definitely could throw a sequel because the story wasn't complete. And, you know, again, and I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to wrap this up real, get ready to wrap this up because, you know, we're here for Minotaur Hotel, and I don't want to deride from the brilliant writing that is Minotaur Hotel. But, you know, I don't really get to talk about things this much. This is like something that I want to talk about in other videos, like personal videos I've been trying to make. I want to talk about this kind of stuff, though. I'm not going to get mad at the creator, but I feel like the creator knows what to do to get people to get thirsty for characters. The art style for Adastra is a big I feel like the art for Adastra is one of the biggest reasons that so many people fell in love with that VN. That being said, the art is not the art. I just talked about the art. That being said, the writing is not terrible. It is okay. It's above average. It's just it's just that the issue is the pacing towards the last third needed to be refined, and the fact that the ending is very rushed, and the fact that the ending is very rushed and sequel baits very hard. I don't like that. I have no issue if you want to make a trilogy of VNs, but give a concrete ending that leaves potential for another story. Adastra didn't really do that for me. Adastra didn't do that for me. Adastra felt like it was trying to force you to look at a sequel, like, oh, you have all these questions and such. Well, guess what? Help donate to the Patreon for the sequel, and you'll get to find the answers. I don't like that. I don't like when movies do it. I don't like when books do it. I don't like when VNs do it. That's all I have to say about it. Not a bad VN. I like Adastra. I still have it saved in my computer. I think the main premise it was trying to get off, though, was not done correctly. I feel like it gave up very quickly on the political intrigue that was promised. I feel like that it was very given up on the political intrigue that I thought was the main premise of the story, and focused much more on the romance, which is fine. But tell your fans, hey, listen, tell your fans in the beginning, hey, listen, this story is going to be more focused on the romance than the political intrigue, because the political intrigue had me interested. I was very excited to play that for the political intrigue, because I've read stuff like Game of Thrones. I've read stuff like Game of Thrones that I loved, and had very amazing, well done political intrigue. You can say all you want about George R.R. Martin, but George R.R. Martin knows how to have numerous sides of a story and portray all sides as sympathetic to a degree. And I just don't think Adastra did that. But that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not downgrading the creator. I'm not downgrading the artist. I'm not downgrading the people that worked on it. I'm just saying I think it could have been done better. But at the end of the day, Amicus is a very lovable character, and I really did love the fact that Amicus really did grow a lot by the end of the story. Amicus grew a lot as a character without completely losing all the traits that make Amicus Amicus. As by the end of the story, he's still brash, but he's more calculating with his brashness, if that makes sense. But that's all I'm gonna say, and if you, like I said, if you like the VN, great. If you think it's one of the best, that's fine. You can like it. We all have different opinions. I don't think it's one of the best. I think it's a good VN. But there's things I didn't like with it. I think my score before, I gave it like an 8 out of 10, which is to me one of the best VNs had to have a 9 or 10. 7 or 8 to me is good. 5 to 6 is average. 3 to 4 is bad. 2 to 1 is terrible, and 0 is it's completely unplayable. 0 is pretty much Blackgate. 0 to me would be Blackgate, which I kind of want to play on this channel for laughs, but 0 to me is it's completely unsalvageable. So I would probably never give nothing a 0 except Blackgate. Blackgate I give 0 because the creators screwed people over after all the support they got. But anyway, moving on with Astrian. But yeah, if any of you ever want to me to do a review video on a VN, that's complete. I'll do so. I don't mind doing that. Or if you want me to do like a character analysis on a character, I would love to do that. Like I really, Amicus to me was a very interesting character. I didn't care for the main character. Marco had no real personality to him. Marco had no real personality to me. And, you know, shots fired. Marco was a terrible main character. Amicus was a great one. I would have rather the story just been about Amicus and his journey to regain his throne. Dirk the Red Panda, I do know. I was actually, last year, I was in, they did a vote for Best Boy, and I did that last year. I'm in that, if you check. I've also talked to Deckerlink, but I don't talk to, I believe it's her. I don't talk to her anymore for reasons. I kind of started losing touch with their personality and their content. I started losing touch. Dirk the Red Panda is fantastic, and so is Blad Lloyd. But, yeah, I started losing contact with Deckerlink. She just, I hate to say it, but I feel like she started going off the deep end. And I wish her the best in her, you know, in her adventure on YouTube and all that, but just, yeah. I've never seen Shattered Reaper. But let me go to the story. I'll answer, keep asking questions, I'll answer them later. I gotta do this. Before I just have a whole rant. Well, I should not lie. A vineyard would be nice. Who knows? Maybe one day if it's still your wish. This is a nifty invention, this internet thing. Could it? The silliest idea came to me. Perhaps it's hubris of me to even consider it. No, Limewing, you're perfectly fine. I like having these conversations. I really get to have these conversations. And I really get to have these, like, you know, these intellectual conversations with VNs. Like, you know, and because like, usually I don't, when I talk about Adastra, I either get told it's the best VN ever made, or it's one of the worst ever made, and Amicus is a terrible, terrible character. And I'm like, no, Amicus is a fine character. The things they did, nobody's saying that what they did was right, but like, they grow from that, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having a character do something terrible and learn from it. Marco, though, is a terrible character. I think Marco, I don't like Marco. I don't hate him, but I didn't like him. Marco was a character I outright hated. I don't like Marco. I think he was in a good character. And honestly, I think the story would have been better if they left Marco out of the story and just focused on Amicus. Or they killed, I don't know, maybe they killed Marco halfway. This is just a thought. Maybe they killed Marco half. Smoke Room. Oh, that is a VN I still haven't played yet. I still need to play that. I hear so many good things about Smoke Room, and all the art looks great. The art looks great. I've actually been taking inspiration from that VN through that VN for my own VN. Like with the characters, I really have. I really want to play Smoke Room. And Nefru, of course, everybody loves Nefru. Nefru, without a doubt. Nefru is a power bottom, and the best power bottom. I love him. The Minotaur's ears flicker and his snout takes on a livelier shade of pink. Could the internet have something about me? Of course, there is the whole legend about you, dating back to who knows when. We can find plenty of stuff. Although, there are many misconceptions about you. You might not like what you... Oh, is this about us? Is this about us? Maybe there's many misconceptions about us? I don't know. I'll ask the audience, which one do you think I should go for? Should I go for, I guess this is about us. I guess this will affect how we look. There are many misconceptions about you, or you might not like what you see. Which one are we more worried about? Are we worried about a lot of lies being spread about us on the internet, which is the usual? We all know that this is the usual. Or should we talk about you might not like what you see? What is the worst VN? Oh, that's easy. The worst, I don't know if I would technically call it a VN or oh, it's for Astrian. Okay. The worst VN I've played, but I don't know if I'd consider it a VN. The worst VN I've easily played is Something to Do with Love. Something to Do with Love is an incomplete mess that had a lot of potential that was quickly shoved to the side, and is a game that is being sold for $20. It is a early access game at the bare mint. It is an early access. It's an early access game at the most, a demo at the worst, that is being charged $19.99, and It is almost 2 years later, and despite the creator promising that he was going to update things, give it a definitive ending for each character's route, no updates have been given to that game. I was so disappointed when I found out the game has no ending. It's a terrible, terrible game. Wolfstar Cid in Paradise. I played that. I hated it. I don't think it's good. Guess what? And you know what? It's time for another hot take. The only reason I think that VN has got as much praise as it has is because the creator of that VN is the boyfriend of the creator of extracurricular activities. And I know for a fact, because that game is not good, and hyper. That VN isn't good. I hate saying that for VN creator, but that's a VN that I feel like is so bad, it needs to start from scratch. They need to completely say, the creator needs to completely say, let's start this over from scratch. Concept is brilliant, but no, they do not go into detail with anything. I do not like Wolfstar Cid in Paradise. You will not see me play it on this channel. I hated it. I played it in private. Hated it. Hated everything about it. And I hated everything about it. Art was terrible. Random NSFW scenes that make no sense. And this is coming from me who's played a lot of VNs. The world seemed very interesting, but they do nothing with it. The world seems very interesting, but you don't know anything that's going on. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. I think a soft reboot for that VN would be the best. That love scene at the beginning, you mean, that makes no sense in context of the story? The characters, one of the characters going, I'm not gay, but... I hate characters like that. I'm not gay, but blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, we got NSFW scenes going on. I hate characters like that. You have no idea how much I hate characters like that. If they're written poorly. And most times, 9 times out of 10, they are written poorly. 9 times out of 10, the characters that have secret gay fascinations and just don't want to admit it, and they end up admitting their love, are written very poorly. It can be done properly, but it's very hard. Okay, I'm gonna go with... you might not like what you see. History painted a very unkind picture of you. I'd go as far as saying it's slanderous. I see. Yes, I cannot say I am surprised. The Athenians were not kind in their telling of what happened. I have known of that for a long time. Let's see. Astrian of Crete. Oh, there is something here, even if it's not about me. Astrian I became the king of Crete after the death of his father, King Tekatamus. After Europa was abducted and taken by Zeus, he married her and became the stepfather to Zeus's sons. Huh, not what I wanted, but this is nice. A shard of my family's history lives. Is that your grandfather? Not exactly. He lived a long time before me. I can't even recall how many generations apart we are. There's not much here, I suppose. Most of it would be forgotten, but further down it says Astrian II, the Minotaur. Let's see what they have about me. The Minotaur's eyes leap from sentence to sentence. Phasphia, struck by Poseidon's madness, recruited the artisan Daedalus to craft the hollow cow with which she took the bull's lord. It's a shame because I've read a decent amount of Greek mythology. I know a few of these people and what their role is in Greek mythology. I just don't remember how to say the names. The hybrid child, said to have the body of a man and the head of a bull, had no place in the natural order and nothing to sustain it. As such, he grew violent and took to consuming human flesh. King Minoh commanded Athens to send youths as tribute to feed him. 7 youths, among which was Theseus, heir to Athens' throne. Ardinian, the Minotaur's sister, became enraptured by the Athenian hero and confided him the secret that the labyrinth could be conquered with a ball of yarn. With Ardinia's assistance, Theseus solved it and vanquished the Minotaur. He escaped Crete with the princess, but abandoned her on the island of Naxos, where it is believed she either met her end or was kidnapped by Dionysus. In the aftermath of the Minotaur's death, Crete fell from its hegemonic position over the Mediterranean. King Minoh set out in pursuit of Daedalus, seeking revenge for he believed it was a craftsman who revealed to Aradine the secret solution to the labyrinth. This in turn led to Minoh's death, boiled alive in a foreign court. The death of the Minotaur marks the fall of Crete and the rise of Athens as the main power in the Mediterranean. The loss of a centralized ruling figure led to fragmentation, which in turn allowed it to be conquered by different civilizations over the course of history. Ooh, that's not good. Well, that's kind of bad to read about. Your sister kind of be supportive. We're going to be supportive. There's no way we're going to let Astrian... There's no way. I really want to know the people that actually act like a abusive master to Astrian, because shame on you. This poor man, yes, I'm calling him a man. This poor man has been through so much. How could you? I have not played Temptations Ballot yet. It is on my list along with Repeat. Even though Repeat's probably not going to get finished. I'm going to call it out now. I know the creator has said they're going to finish Repeat. I don't think they're going to finish Repeat. I honestly feel like they probably got burned out with it. But maybe it will. I definitely want to play Repeat. I definitely want to play Repeat. I've seen some funny things from when I watched Ookie Cookie play it. By the way, Ookie Cookie no longer has a YouTube channel. They haven't had a YouTube channel for a few months, which is really sad, but you know. Be supportive. If you'd like to hear a word of caution, not everything you'll find online is true. I imagine that could be distressing, seeing yourself misrepresented. You're not at all like the legend says. It's outright slander. But we both know better. You're kind, hardworking, and very important to the hotel and to the people here. That's the truth that matters. That said, it might be for the best if you don't focus too much on what the internet says about you. There are better things for you to search about. Sure thing, we could definitely talk on Discord, Lion Wing. I'm still curious what kind of team you want me to join. Also, Lagoon Lounge, I just saw that, Ghosty. Lagoon Lounge has easily one of the worst MCs in the VN I've ever read. Hands down. Easily one of the worst main characters in a VN, is Lagoon Lounge series. Sadly, I like Lagoon Lounge's setting. I just don't like the main character. I really don't like the main character, and he does some very, very horrible, horrendous things, and yet ends up smelling like roses at the end of the day. The Minotaur draws a breath, holding himself back from coughing. Also, that game has another character that's like, I'm not gay, but... And I hate that. There's a character named Goo that's like, I'm not gay, but... And I'm like, alright then. The Minotaur draws a breath, holding himself back from coughing. It's fine. Nothing I didn't know already. The Athenians were not kind in their telling of the tale. We have our own version of the story now. That won't matter. I'm gonna quickly add you, Lion Wing, but I would delete that afterwards. I'm copy and paste it now, and then I would delete it just to be safe, because you never know. It's the internet, you know. Just for your own safety. I would hate for something bad to happen to you. Add friend. Paste. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Paste. Okay, paste. There we go. Okay, didn't work. Hold on, I'm trying to add you now. There you go. Okay, friend request has been sent. I'm going... There you go. Sure thing. I will see you after the stream, Lion Wing. You take care of yourself. Have a beautiful day. And yes, Tendo, I completely agree. If you don't have a good MC, you can ruin a VN. It is possible to not, but it can be difficult to not have a good MC and still have a good VN. Well, I was thinking of going down to the lounge. If I recall correctly, there are some leftovers from last night we could eat. If you want, you could stay here and keep browsing the internet. Does that sound good? The Minotaur's fingertips were ice cold. His hooves radiated a dull pain that crawled all the way to the top of his horns. Well, I think it's more just the setting. I mean, this game actually is kind of depressing for the most part. Also, it could just be the artist's style. The artist's style does have a certain style to them. He drew a breath. His fingers curled on the device's surface. His ears went numb as a streak of cold sweat ran down his back. Yes, I'll be fine. Thank you, sir. See you soon, Astrian. The Minotaur closed his eyes and recalled it all. the dozen, perhaps hundreds of retellings he had heard across the centuries. Each one more horrible than the previous, so often revolving around that fundamental misinformation that he had been a cannibal. Such a life-changing lie. And yet, there was something comforting in the simple fact that, cannibalism aside, what he read was exactly what he expected. See you soon, my lord. Once more, the sound of your footsteps echoes up and down the stairwell, from the skylight so far above down to the depths below. Each one sounds somehow lonely without the now familiar clopping of Astrian's hooves keeping time with them. There is no low, humming, murmuring voice just above and behind your shoulder. No massive body brushing against your side and then pulling away after lingering for the briefest moment. There is no conversation or even companionable silence. There is just you and the staircase. As you take the steps down, your mind drifts back to the night before, to the celebration of the hotel's revival, to Astrian's concert, to the embrace you had shared with the Minotaur before he mounted the stage, and the banter between the two of you while returning to your chambers when the night had grown late. You poke your head into the lobby, checking for any early morning arrivals, when you're met only with silence and solitude. You make your way towards the light and life, as hungover and heavy-headed as it may be, of the lounge. Oh, it's our two buddies. Hello, Poi. Is that how you say it? Poi? The group of Middle Eastern students are huddled around the same table near the hearth they had occupied the night before, sharing an animated conversation over steaming cups of coffee. A few of the newer arrivals are scattered here and there, still shooting occasional sideways glances toward the serene dragon manning the bar counter. And Coda himself nods along with Luke's chattering while the griffin scarfs down his breathless. So anyway, what you think about? Could be pretty... Oh no, I forgot his voice. It's Texas accent. So anyway, what you think? Could be pretty dang fun, huh? That sounds Australian. What am I doing? That sounds Australian. I don't know what I'm doing. Perhaps. Come on, Blue Boy. A little music, a little stargazing. I can make us some... I can't do the voice now. I usually can do Luke. It's been so long. It's so long since I've done his voice. I'm gonna attempt. I have to do some practice off stream off stream. Come on, Blue Boy. A little music, a little stargazing. I can make us some snacks. Oh, the voice. Oh, you ever try a pickle pop? Make them big enough and you can lick them pretty much all night long. Was that an innuendo? You want it to be? Oh, Luke, stop! Boundary, stop it. Luke, stop it. Bad Griffin, stop it. Coda told you, give boundaries. He's not into that. Give him some boundaries, man. Jeez. Boundaries is a thing. This day and age, that's sexual harassment. You want it to be? No, I don't want it to be sexual harassment, Luke, please. The Griffin tries to keep a straight face, but struggles as the seconds tick away. He finally bursts into a fit of giggling while Coda rolls his eyes. But seriously, pretty much everything's a lot more fun when you do it with someone else. No funny business, I promise. Just two men appreciating the beauty of the night sky together. Wouldn't you rather spend the time with one of your tricets? Yeah, stuff like that never lasts as long as you want it to. Luke's gaze grows distant and a wistful sigh escapes his beak. Come on, please. I promise I'll make it worth your while. I'm doing an Australian accent. I'm sorry. I just a few days ago I did Lannis from Roman's Christmas, and I'm stuck with that hard Cockney accent. We even get mocking Astrian along for the ride, making a real get together. What's this about now? The pair looks over to you when you speak up. You move to take the stool next to Luke, and the Griffin wipes his beak with his forearm and greets you with a wide grin. Good morning, Mark. Luke was just telling me about his idea to go stargazing, and the wish for me to join him. Oh, what brought this one? Well, I guess it's been banging around in my brain a while now. See, a couple of nights ago, I was thinking shit over. It was just after I got here, and, well, you know. He glances over at Coda and then clears his throat and continues. Anyway, I saw Astrian out on the porch playing that harp thingy of his. We ended up shooting the shit, and he laid some stuff out for me that I think I needed to hear. But the stars, man, it was like staring at the face of God. I always loved looking at the stars, and I just thought, well, what's better than doing it with some friends? Oh, so we're friends, are we? The griffin shifts and squirms to the stool with an awkward chuckle. Well, I mean, I just thought, you know. Coda hums, low and rumbling, as he crosses his arms and closes his eyes, thinking, considering. I suppose that I could use something like that. Something to take my mind off of things. Don't misunderstand me, Mark. I'm grateful for the work. But running around to serve the guests while trying to figure out where things are disappearing to is more tiring than I have anticipated. Wait, what's disappearing? Coda shrugs. It's the strangest thing. It's usually food, but even the utensils aren't entirely safe. I'll set a few trays out, turn around, and find them picked over the moment I look back. Even the cold room has the occasional can or jar gone missing. That's really weird. I don't think one of the guests would be sneaking into the kitchen for food when they could just ask to have it served up. Could the hotel be doing it somehow? I don't think so, but I will admit you asked you to know more than how all of this works. I guess I could ask him. But yeah, if you need a break, then this could be good. After everything that's happened over the last few days, I think we all could use it. Alright, it's a plan then. The griffin hops off his stool, stretching his body and lashing his tail in euphemism. Oh man, this is going to be great. We could get a few cases of beer out and get some lawn chairs set up and... Like, oh wait, there you go. It's starting to come. We can get a bunch of lawn chairs set up. Luke pauses, grins, and looks at you. I think I got the voice down. Hey, think your hotel magic could whip up a telescope for us? It's difficult to make complicated objects. You have to be able to tell the hotel how. But I think there's some schematics for different machines, telephones, stuff like that down the bedrock. Astria told me he got everything organized on one of the tables. You can take a look there, see if you can find anything for a telescope. If not, we can try to get something drawn up. In the bedrock, huh? In the bedrock, get it? Luke hems and haws for a long moment. He scratches at the underside of his beak. His tail flicks behind him. Alright. You open the way, and me and Blue Boy will find those schemackers in a jiffy. Excuse me? Me? Well, yeah, 2 pairs of eyes will find what we're looking for faster than one, right? The dragon looks to you, but you give him a helpless shrug in return. Luke's right, and even if Coda doesn't want to admit it, all 3 of you know it. You're going to pester me until I say yes, aren't you? Yep. In the face of the griffin's shameless smile, Coda can only sigh, shake his head, and resign himself to his fate. Very well. I suppose we should make our way down sooner rather than later, yes? I have played Socially Awkward. I stopped playing that because that game's constant updates, constantly retconning stuff, kind of got a little tiring to deal with. At personal preference, I was a little tired of it. Every month or two, the game's getting retconned again, and I'm just like, I kind of wish, once the creator knows what kind of vision they want, then fine. But right now, I don't want to play it with them retconning everything every other month or two. It's just a little tiring. Hey, listen, before you do, can I tell you something? You glance around and then gesture the dragon and griffin in close. It's about Astrian. Is everything alright? I think so, it's just... Coda and Luke wait for you to gather your thoughts. You weigh each word before you speak, trying to decide how much to tell them. How much you have the right to tell them. He's been through a lot. You remember how the hotel was when we were just reopening, right? Kemiya, what I've seen, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty interesting. I like the main character so far. They definitely have more personality than... Marco from Ad Astra. But isn't Kemiya on a hiatus right now? I heard something's going on and they put it on hiatus for a time. But I would definitely, I probably would stream that. I'd probably stream what's out right now for that game. Yeah, Kemiya, I thought so. Kemiya's a hiatus. It'd probably be a good time to play it now, though. Maybe I'll see what I can do with the next week. Next week I don't have anything planned. The only thing I have planned for this week is focusing on this Loki episode 1 review and post another video of Familiar Travels. But besides that, I don't really have anything going on. So maybe I can post that next week. Goriest visual novel, The Beast or Echo. I've only played close to the end of Leo's route right now in Echo. But in terms of graphics, The Beast. In terms of visualization, Echo. Because Echo has some pretty graphic stuff mentioned, we just don't see it. The Beast actually shows stuff, so in terms of those two, Echo describes more gory stuff, but The Beast is more gory in its visualization. That's how I feel, at least. The dragon nods. His expression is grave as he waits, patient and placid, for you to continue. Well, his family has been able to keep the hotel in good shape since the last master abandoned it. When I came around, it was just Ashley in here. So he's been through a lot, and things can get difficult for him sometimes. I know we had fun last night, but this morning he might need a little time. Luke nods and he speaks in a quiet, even tone that's surprising to hear from the Griffin. He can take all the time he needs. We ain't gonna force him to come out with us. But if he's feeling better about tonight, both he and you sure are welcome to join the fun. Thank you, Luke. The Griffin tips you a wink and his heavy paw claps you on the shoulder. Of course, it's the least I could do for you and him. So, shall we? Yes. Yes, the sounds are really, some of the sounds of the Beast make me grimace. Right. Alexander from Tennessee is possibly the bartender from Wolfstar. Oh boy, that's interesting. With that said and done, the three of you break your huddle. You open the passage to the bedrock for them, humming just like Astrian taught you. After seeing the Griffin and Dragon off, you resolve to check in on what else needs to be done. The hotel is alive once more, and it is the master's duty to take care of the guests who pass through its open doors. But first, preface. I'm going to be streaming this till 7, so another 25 minutes, and then I'm going to call it a day. Just because I got to work tonight, I got to get ready. The Griffin and Dragon make their way down the winding stone hallway. Their footsteps echo in the silence surrounding them, rushing ahead into the labyrinth's depths, awaiting the pair. So... Back here again. Silence falls again, a stifling blanket that envelops the pair. Just when it starts to become unbearable, it's broken by a low, reedy, whining sound. Will you stop that? What's the matter now? Don't like... What's the matter now? Don't like my whistling? To be frank, it sounds like someone is strangling a cat. Oh, Coda. Rude. I ain't scared, you know. I mean, what's there to be scared of? It's just a creepy basement. In a freaky, magic hotel. Yes, nothing to be scared of at all. Can you let go of my arm? I think I'm starting to lose circulation. Oh, sorry. Luke's hand jerks away, rising up with palms out while he gives Coda a sheepish grin. The two continue to the passageway, and while neither acknowledges it, the soldiers continue to brush together as if confirming the other's presence. Passport I haven't played the other. Passport's another one I hear a lot of people would say is really good. And then they turn one last corner and stand on the threshold of their destination. There's just so many VNs I have to play, and I'm going to be honest, not all of them I'm going to get to. It's just too many. Not all of them I'll be able to get to, but I'll try to do what I can. When he'd been down there assisting as much as he could, at least with getting the Wi-Fi to work, Coda had been able to find distractions from the oppressive wrongness that filled the room. But now there's no one to serve snacks or tea to, no chattering from a certain overenthusiastic young woman, and the feeling clutches like a fist around his old pattering heart. After you.
No, please, I insist. After you.
Nah, it's fine. Nah, it's fine. Ladies first, right?
Truly, I beg your pardon.
On three.
That would be acceptable.
Alright, here goes. 1,
2,
3. 3! The Griffin lets out a involuntarily squawk as he rushes into the room. He flinches and raises his fist when he hears low, deep rumbling, but then realizes that the sound is coming from behind. I know there's so many VNs I'm trying to get to, and I'll try to do what I can, but I can't get to every single one. I'm trying to do other stuff on my channel besides just VNs. I love VNs, but there's other stuff I want to do with this channel, and it's been so hard lately, because it's like so many. So many VN people want to play me. I'm still trying to finish Familiar Travels, even though, from what I hear, the creator is a douchebag. Yes, I'm being serious. I've heard some pretty bad stuff about the creator. I'm still going to finish the VN, though, because I've paid for the VN already, and I can't refund it, so I might as well enjoy it. Koda is still standing at the entrance of the room, hiding a small smile behind his hand. There's other VNs I gotta go back to that I've stopped for a while ago, like Chemo Coliseum. The Beast I gotta live stream again. I just started back Minotaur Hotel. Like I said, I got a pre-record Familiar Travels, Black Sad. I want to still do Backbone. There's a lot of stuff. Asshole.
Come now, Mr. Walker. Aren't you the one always telling me to lighten up?
Luke's beak opens and then falls shut. Opens and then falls shut. The Griffin rubs the back of his head and lets out a quiet laugh. He can't argue with that.
Now then, the telescope?
Yeah. The Griffin moves towards one of the tables and starts searching through the stacks of documents. Mark said these Shkako What's-It should be over here, right?
That's correct.
Carter watches Luke rifle through the papers. Wincing as a few drop off the table to scatter on the floor. While the Griffin makes a mess of Astrian's handiwork, the dragon's gaze begins to wander. To the wall of open siding filling half the room. To the bottomless basin at the center of the massive chamber. To the piled up instruments along one wall, and then to the folders lined up on another nearby table. Contracts. Koda isn't sure at first what draws him to approach and begins flipping through these folders, but as he hums to himself, he searches out names, descriptions, anything that might spark a single hint of familiarity. When he had asked Mark and Astrian, they both said that they didn't know of any guests like the man he was searching for. It wasn't like he didn't believe them, but perhaps it was further in the past than Astrian's family could remember. Perhaps Mark, being new and inexperienced, wouldn't even know where to look in the records. Perhaps it wasn't the Red Dragon, but one of the names Koda had sought out when his journey first began, hiding somewhere within those pages. Perhaps. It was less than unlikely, but the mere possibility was like an insistent itch, and Koda had long ago lost the ability to resist scratching.
Wait a minute.
Ah! The piercing shriek derails Koda's train of thought, and then something warm, feathery, and smelling of bacon grease and musk slimes into his side and wraps his arms tight around him.
Go! Luke, what are you? Let go of me! There's something over there!
The dragon's eyes follow Luke's trembling finger towards a nearby pile of junk. He's about to speak when the sound of pittering feet cuts him off. A shadow moved behind one of the wall tables. Something breathes in the heavy silence. Koda looks at Luke. Luke looks at Koda.
Well, come on then. Let us see what it is.
Koda edges towards the source of those sounds. Luke, meanwhile, takes a moment to grab a heavy paperweight before following. Oh, I like the animation. Slow, careful, quiet. They edge towards whatever it is in there with them. Luke looks at Koda. Koda looks at Luke. The dragon nods, and a silent count begins. 1, 2, 3. Koda grabs the table and heaves it from the wall with a loud roar, while Luke surges forward with a predator's screech and his weapon held high. Hiya! Eep! Oh! Oh my god! It's a kobold! Also, what is this music? Why? When did we enter? Toy Story, is that you? Pixar? Childhood, is that you? Come back! Childhood, come back! I miss you, Toy Story. I missed you, Woody. And Buzz Lightyear. And apparently this Cobalt, who I don't know his name. Hello. Oh, so cute. The little creature flinches and screams. The little creature flinches and screams as its hiding place is yanked away. With a yelp of fear, tries to scrabble back into the shelter of the table. Get away! Something slams into Luke's back, wrapping thin arms around the griffin's neck with a high-pitched war cry, and then the pile of junk erupts and another little creature flings itself at Coda. Pandemonium fills the room, grunting and screaming, scratching and scrambling. Coda scrambles and trips over a thin-limbed body, and Luke staggers and grunts with every blow of tiny fist on the crown of his head. Pep squeaked. But while the two were surprised by their assailant, they are both larger and stronger. Luke reaches to grab the thing clinging to his back, and even as the creature snaps and snarls and squirms in his grip, the griffin manages to pull it off. Coda, meanwhile, rolls on the ground to cover the cowering little thing. Oh my god. Oh, this is perfect. Coda, meanwhile, rolls to the ground to grab the cowering little thing that tripped him up in the crook of one arm. The creature that slammed to the dragon's side tries to scamper away, but despite his size, Coda is swift. He surges like a tide to engulf the fleeing foe. I can't imagine how much work this requires. There's 3? Oh my gosh, there's 3. Wait, what? What kind is that's like a what kind of hoodie? Oh, that is adorable. Oh, we're gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun doing these voices. The pair finally stand, bruised and amused, but victorious. The wriggling opponents let out shrill squeaks of panic as they're carried over and sat down near the Oberside wall. When the little creatures look around for escape route and see the dragon and griffin boxing them, and they wail and huddle together while cowering on the floor. Let us go! We didn't mean it. Please don't hurt us. And the dragon and griffin stared up at the million of reptilian beings. Excuse me, they're called kobolds. Luke, Ghosty, I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna legitimately slap you. You don't bring those two up in my group. Don't bring those two up in my chat. Luke takes in the scraps of clothing the trio are wearing, scavenged no doubt, while Coda tuts at the sight of their pallid scales and sunken features. As the dragon finally sighs across his arm, gazing down at the shaking lizards. Hush now, little ones. We will not hurt you, I promise. Tell that to my aching head. Coda shoots Luke a look, and the griffin goes back to sulking while rubbing at his bruised noggin. I am Kota, an employee of this hotel. Tell me, are you the ones who have been stealing food from upstairs? After sniffling and wiping his snout, the darker scaled lizard speaks. We had to. We've been starving for so long, and we won't do it again. Honest, just let us go and end. The lizard looks up at Coda and trails off. His yellow eyes peer at the looming male for a long moment, then grow wide. A dragon! The other two lizards fall silent as if the word was flipped switch. They too lift their heads to look at Coda, and the same expression of awe spreading on their darker scaled companion's face lightens theirs up as well. The dragon? Is it really a dragon? It is. It's a dragon. The 3 lizards chirp with delight, and their snouts split open in wide, toothy, beaming grins. Once I know who the voice, once I have the names, I'll be able to voice them better. A dragon? We finally found a dragon! Wait, that means we... Blinking eyes wide in realization and then horror, the trio throws themselves down to the ground at Coda's feet and cling to the dragon's ankles. We're sorry, we didn't know. Really, it's all right. Peace, little ones, peace. Coda looks from the whimpering lizards over to Luke, his own expression dumbfounded. He murmurs vague consolation to the trio while bending down to give them gentle pats between their horns. So, what are these guys? I believe I have an idea. Regardless, they aren't a threat. In fact, it seems they are much need, and as much need for shelter as any other guest of the hotel. Yeah. In that case, guess we should tell Mark and Astrid about them. At the mention of the Minotaur's name, Coda's gaze drops to the floor. Indeed. What's wrong now, Blue Boy? It's nothing, although... Koda extracts himself from the supplicating lizards, giving them quiet instruction to stay put for a moment. They chirp in obedient acknowledgement, watching along with Luke as the dragon returns to the table. Koda picks up the file folder he's been flipping through before the interruption.
Would you mind confirming something for me, Mr. Walker?
He holds the folder out to the griffin.
Sure.
What you need now?
Just read it, I think you'll understand.
Alright. The dragon hands the documents over. Luke begins to flip through them. Uh-oh.
Huh?
What the hell is this? What happened? Wait, what? No, you can't do that, Gabe. Freaking tease. Finding a lack of the co-voted leftovers, a man must rise up to the challenge. This is new music, by the way. Finding a lack of the co-voted leftovers, a man must rise up to the challenge. After a makeshift snack for you and Astrian, you start work on the most divine of all foods, bread. Oh yeah, I completely agree with you, Bad. The writing is brilliant. It literally feels like you're reading a book. It literally is like you're reading a novel. But yeah, the art style is I mean, the art style to me is passable. It's not great, but it's passable. I mean, it kind of reminds me of, no offense, Ocean Avenue. The art style, the original art style was from the creator, and the art style was kind of passable, but some characters look terrible. For the most part, the art style was passable in Ocean Avenue, but then there were some that you're like, this is not good. Graze your finger over a heaping cup of flour to rid it of the excess, less than a spoonful of salt, water, and yeast mixed together to bring it to life. Each ingredient in its rightful quantity and proper place. Mix it all, first uneven lumps, then half-mixed strings, sticky enough to form a web from index to thumb, firm enough to be plucked. Keep mixing, it'll stay between your fingers like a memory of the times when our ancestors had webbed hands. Sweat drips from your forehead, struggle with a towel to wipe it, leave a string of dough on it. Wait, let the bread rise, knead it, grab its edges and fold it over itself 4, 8, 12, 16 times. Let it sleep inside a basin. It takes a while for the bread to rise enough to push off the lid, but surely enough the time comes. A sharp scent of alcohol shall rise. Knead it, feel as it resists against your grasp until it's been folded on itself into a neat, smooth ball almost bursting at the seams. Knead and rest until it's ready, however many times it takes. There is something divine in all the stages of baking, the smoothness of flour, the diminutive heat of activated yeast, the eye-watering scent of alcoholic fermentation. Chief among them is the aroma of bread in the oven and the joy of sharing it. Well, I think that's probably more what I meant. The anatomy was not really good in Ocean Avenue's old art style. I mean, I think that's more what I meant, because the art style itself is not really terrible, it's not bad per se, but yeah, the anatomy was definitely, short people had long limbs that made no sense. Tall characters had long legs and short arms. It was a very interesting anatomy. It was a very interesting Picasso style. Look up, there's someone on the sofa, your servant, roommate, business partner, dear guest, a man's mind in the body of a hybrid. There's something divine in the eyes, in yours and his, in the eyes of mankind and all the beautiful human-like peace with which our empire was built. It hasn't been long since you met this man called Astrian, but the cadence of his voice, the reverence in his words, the shifts in his face, by now there may be familiarity. His moods are clearer in your mind's eye. At times you might even find yourself anticipating the next step of his dance. What a pagan ritual this is, cooking for the Minotaur of legend while he broods. His rough fingers graze and tap away at the... He finds an issue he can't resolve. His posture goes rigid and you know well to check on him. It happens every 20 minutes. It fits well with the doe's rest times. He's quiet now, more than when you left him. Whatever attempt at extracting some truth is met with a disorientated grunt. Give him time. The both of you have it in plenty, after all. Go back to your pagan ritual of kneading dough for the brooding man. Be dutiful. There was something divine at play, in cooking, in mankind's eyes and hands. Should fortune smile, you too will carry this divinity in yourself. Let time pass, eat and drink. Let the man rest. His heart dances to its own odd rhythm. And is this what you were after, I wonder? Why did you, master of masters, come to this sorry desert? Here, the Lord may summon diamonds at his fingertips, but it is not why you were enticed to own this land. Perhaps this is what you were after. A realm where a man may conduct the pagan ritual of finding a kindred spirit. There is something divine in providing grace to an ailing soul, and so you must cook while he rests. You are the master, and for the silent afternoon, he is your guest. Slave away at the oven, open the wine, pour its contents in your finest glasses, call this man to the feast even if his appetite is lacking. He eats in silence, you hum and you tap for your feet to a beat only God knows. You exchange glances and ponder how his eyes always seem too wet. As his nostrils flare, he lets out the old stagnant air accumulated in his lungs. His shoulders drop as a shiver up his spine, leaving a trail of hair standing up. I haven't played that either. I haven't played Far Beyond the World either. His chest thrums a bassy rumble, hooves scrape against the floor. You feel his voice 5 beats before it arrives. I don't have it in me to pretend anymore. What do you mean? I don't deserve any of this. The Minotaur looks through you, hazy eyes, tired and fearless. I'm afraid I don't get it. He parts his mouth and draws a breath. From your place across the dinner table, you can hear wheezing. He licks his lips, but the tongue is just as dry, cups his hands together and rubs them for warmth. That's what I was gonna say too. I haven't really seen Far Beyond the World, but Far Beyond the World's another one that blew up hard. No, I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it, because I haven't seen enough of it to make that accusation, to prove or disprove that accusation. But like, yeah, FBTW really blew up hard. That's actually what Blad Lloyd claims got him a lot of subscribers. He jumped from about 2,000 subscribers to 8,000 over a few months, and the biggest, most watched video on his channel is one of Far Beyond the World with over 100,000 views, and I was like, holy crap. Today his voice is not as high-strung as usual. Each syllable flows without rhythm or dance. I am a wretch, Mark, born and killed like one, sentenced by the gods for my cowardice. The Minotaur pinches his forearm and twists. He bites his cheek, deforming it inwards. Then his jaw grows tense as he tests his own limits. Yes, I did, Lion Wing. I did. I would be careful saying that, Ghosty. I'm not trying to badmouth the writer or the creator, but I've heard some things about... I heard he really doesn't like if you badmouth his VN. Again, I haven't played it for myself, but I've heard some things. Apparently the creator... Oh, alright. See you, Bad Raccoon. Thank you for stopping by. When you left, I read on about me. My own story. Nothing I wasn't aware of, but it was interesting seeing it all laid bare. Like I said, I'll decide for myself when I play it. Ghosty, you don't have to worry about me, because I'll be honest with my opinions. I'm not going to bullcrap like you see with Adastra. I didn't bullcrap and say, oh, I love it or I hate it. I said I think it's a good VN with a decent amount of flaws. I mean, I'll be honest. There's no point in lying about how I feel about something, because if I say it's perfect, the creators won't try to do better. If I say it's terrible without giving reasons why, then the creators might just say screw it and give up. Or they might not even try to fix things and just keep doing what they're doing. Would you care to hear it? All of it from the beast itself. The Minotaur draws another struggling breath. He pitches his forearm harder, twists it, and locks his throat once more. A drop of sweat runs down his forehead to his chin, then drips to his clothes. His ears and tail flick back and forth, as if hornets were floating around them. Oh, did Decker like I said, I haven't followed Decker. I unsubscribed to Decker I unsubscribed to Decker like months ago. I was getting tired of certain things, certain parts of their personality. I just don't think they're a bad person. This is what I'm gonna say. I don't mind somebody giving their opinion on something, but I'm not a fan of preaching. And I feel like Decker Lake has become a person that feels more prone to preaching than actually discussing. And I don't like that, because I've dealt with that enough in my life to hear people preach and not actually have a discussion where it just makes you look like the bad person, in my opinion. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm not gonna go on a rant about, oh, this is why you shouldn't follow Decker Lake. This is why they're such a bad person. Because I don't feel that way. I just don't like aspects of the personality that become fairly predominant over time to me. Between the two of you, there was only a short wooden table, about an arm's length. Its corners were once sharp, now they are blunted by age and wear. You ignore his question, and instead more pressing matters come to the surface. His twisting of the arm, the wheezing from his throat, the death black fire consuming him. No, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, people should be honest with their opinions. Discussions aren't a bad thing. Discussions are almost never a bad thing. It's when it becomes arguments, or when it becomes arguments are preaching about why said person is right and you're wrong, that it becomes an issue. And that hasn't happened in this group so far, in my opinion. It's been just discussions. I'm fine with having discussions in the chat while I play something. Just don't argue. Just don't have arguments. If you have arguments, it'd be like, okay, stop talking about it. That's all. Unless it's unanimously a bad thing. He's at your arm's reach, but the distance is insurmountable, and his question whether or not he may proceed is the wrong one entirely. You nod, and he begins. I was sent to this land because of my cowardice. I allowed a man to kill me. My mother lost herself during my birth. Bringing a monster to life is reason enough to lose one's half of one's own mind. I had siblings, too many to count, although as you may guess, my mother's body could not bear another after my birth. My guard, he was my friend. His name was Parnillos. I was not allowed to work, but I made myself useful. My father, king and highest priest of our faith, would take my blood to bring fertility to the people's crops. Addresses what in one of his videos? In the stories I read about myself, they called me a cannibal. And here's the truth, Mark. Indeed I was. One day my 3 sisters tricked me into eating beef. I am half bull after all. Doing so is just as much cannibalism as it would be eating a human. I had been taught to avoid it, but they deceived me. From that moment onwards, my life went to ruin. I was sent to the labyrinth where I lived out the rest of my days. It was punishment, yes, but also safety against whatever fears they had. Exactly, Google. You got it down pat. If you want to know what I mean, Google got it down pat. Like, I remember literally there was a time that they refused to use the word queer or gay, and if you had to refuse to even say the word. And I was like, it's a real word though. I was like, fear, my thought is hiding something away without saying why only continues to perpetrate people repeating said action or repeating said word. Yeah, I was gonna say Decker Lake gave him an FTA because of the conflict with Kale. Yeah, supposedly Decker Lake really does not like Kale at all. I'm not gonna get into it. I think they made a video about it. If you want it, check it out. But like they went on a whole spiel about it, and I watched some of it, and then, but yeah. I completely agree with you, Google. That's why I stopped following Decker Lake months ago, because they went on a whole. They have a big soapbox. They have a big soapbox way of talking about their ethics, and it's the way they talk about ethics is pretty much like what they feel is about ethics is the right, and if you don't agree with it, you're wrong. And granted, I deal with that with a lot of people. I'm a furry. I'm in the furry fandom, and that happens a lot in the furry fandom. But I try to avoid it. So that's why, like, I'm like, if somebody that I really like who stuff, and I will say this much. Decker Link was one of the people that got me to start investing in making YouTube videos, and I will always remember them for that. But that's it. I don't want to watch their content. I don't care for their content anymore. I don't want to hear speed. I came to you to watch videos and to see you be the best you can be, and that might sound rude or messed up, but I don't. But when every other video they make is about what problems they're having, or every other video, every other video is about what problems they're having, or every other video is about some serious topic, I just get tired of it. If I want to hear that, I'll watch the news. Oh my gosh! Everyone, is that little Napoleon? That's hello, little Napoleon. You're coming just as I'm getting ready to end the stream. I'm going to be ending in a few minutes, but hello, little Napoleon. I was going to talk about this at the end of the stream, but I'll say it now. So, I don't know if anybody remembers, months and months ago, I played a VN called Changeling Tale. I only streamed it once for about 2-3 hours. I loved the VN. It actually has human characters in it. I loved the VN. I really had a lot of good time with it. And, well, the creator and somebody else on the team reached out to me and said they really enjoyed the stream. And I actually was really touched, and I had planned on coming back to it. And I'm not just saying that because little Napoleon's here right now. I promise they don't have a pin to my head like they liked my writing so much they want to go back to it of their own will and volition. Isn't that right, Fallen? Not at all. They don't have any pin to my head right now. This is all my own talk. But I was going to go back to their VN anyway, and so now next week I will be streaming again Changeling Tale and continuing on with that VN, because I don't know who the writer is, but the writer is freaking amazing. I love the writing in that VN, and I love the historical accuracy with that VN. I definitely want to get back to it. I really do. I really do, because I'm like, everybody knows I'm working on my own writing, and man, I wouldn't be able to write as good as the people that write on Minotaur Hotel and Minotaur Hotel, and people who are as good of writers as Changeling Tale. Amazing writing, very well done, very, very well done writing. I love reading a VN that feels like I'm reading a novel, because I've always read books since I was little, and I've always loved books. But yeah. Oh, your wife and you do the writing. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's really good. Did you go to I'm just curious. Like, I always like to ask this question for VN creators. Did you or your wife go to school for English, or was it just something that you just did over time, that you worked and practiced on and built up over time, or was it something you actually went to school for? Because honestly, I'm trying to go back to school, and I was thinking about debating on if I want to go back for English or to go back for graphic design. Because I really would like to work for I would really like to work on advertisement, but I also want to write more as a more serious profession. Oh wow, she went to English for school. Okay, and did she get her bachelor's or her master's? Oh, you got a history. Oh, so it works perfectly. That's why it's so much historical accuracy in that VN. Okay, makes sense. Okay, that's why you have a history degree. Of course you do. I did do Ocean Avenue Lion Wing. I did. I'm sorry, visual novel. I'm just so used to abbreviating it to VN. Jeez. Let me finish this up real quick, and I'll have a quick discussion, because I know everybody's getting tired of me going off track, and I'm sorry for that. Oh, wow, a master's degree? Oh, yeah, Oh, yeah, your wife definitely loves reading. Oh, your wife loves reading, then. Your wife loves reading and writing, then. No, you don't need one to make a VN, not at all. A lot of people that I read have master's degrees in some electrical engineering or something. Most don't have a degree. No, I wasn't saying to only get a degree so I can make a VN, just in general. I really like writing. I really one day would like to publish a novella. I have a novella idea in mind. It's just actually getting time to sit down and write, and I already know, like, I literally have from beginning to end how the story will progress. It's just actually getting to sit down and write that story. And I mean, it'll all be something short, like it'll be a short novel. It'll probably be like 100 to maybe 150 pages, but I really want to sit down and write a novel. I'll start working on it. But I also want to get some legit honest criticism and critique of my writing before I work with something serious like that. It was also a duty. I was sent there to tend to a temple and to keep a relic safe. I know it takes a lot of time. That's something that I've had to adjust to, because, yeah, I hear writing an actual novel or novel takes a takes a long time, unless you're experienced in it. Now, if you're experienced in it, you know, you could probably push out a novel in a year to 2 at the most. I would love that, Lying Wing. I would really have that discussion with you, because it was a very serious story. It involved a lot of serious topics, abusive relationships, how people deal with fall from grace, you know, how gay relationships are portrayed in modern times, how, you know, how they're portrayed in modern times, and if the way, you know, and the goods and the bads of the way the modern society portrays gay relationships. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know, what's good about it? What's bad about it? So, like, really serious topics, but like the story itself was really, I really was eager to start writing it. Up until the stargazing seems to understand what happened in the basement. I gotta go to work though today. That's the only reason why. Yeah, of course it was. It's from a furry point of view. Of course it was. But it was, you know, it's set in my universe though. My universe does have human characters, so it's set in my universe that has human characters and anthro characters. I tended to the flame mark for years. Only wanted to go out, and it was not out of negligence. Although in retrospect, I wish it was so. I killed the holy man. His son brought him to me in the hopes that I could put him out of his misery. And I did. But that was an unforgivable crime. I was stained with it. I took a life that Zeus himself had marked as everlasting. What could I have done after that? Oh, definitely, Lammy. We'll definitely talk about it. But the man's son told me sweet words. A redeemer would come, he said. So I waited. And he did arrive. I gave my life. Cowardice is what it was branded as. Ignoble disgrace at best for a prince to give his back to a blade with no valor fought. But in Hades I found peace. My brother, Andragos, defended me, and the judges of dead cleared me of all charges. I enjoyed 3 years of freedom in Hades before I was kidnapped to this realm to serve the sentences God saw fit. For centuries the masters did as they pleased, until one saw fit to end my trials. I am rotten, Mark. When I am wounded, that's what leaves me. Rot and decay. I am dead. I know what will happen. You don't have to lie to yourself about who or what I am. Neither do you have to deceive me or prolong it out of kindness. You will grow tired of me, as all do eventually. I do not have in me to be a toy talked to like a man. You have shown yourself to be kind, more so than most masters. But I know that it's only a matter of time until you grow bored and see that it's foolish to take care of a slave for yourself. That anticipation, the tension, that I cannot bear. Pain, on the other hand, I have mastered. So please, let's end this charade. I cannot bear it any longer. Do as you please with me. You have come quite a way in your journey, kind master. Inherited an old treasure of humanity. Investigated its inner workings, healed the keeper, overcame the snake's allure, welcomed wanderers both virtuous and unsightly. And yet, it did not cost you much. Your actions were small and unexceptional. You did not bleed or toil for it. But goodness does not always come of blood and sweat. Sometimes doing the decent thing in the face of infinite temptation is noteworthy enough to be heroic. Oh boy. Could have given into your baser urges. To become a man, a boy sacrificed part of his potential to harm. Yeah, I think, well, remember, he was, how many decades was he trapped in that room for? And he literally can't die. He can't die. He suffers pain, but he couldn't die. And I think it's just, I mean, he spent, what, millennia being in this place, thinking that for all intents and purposes, you're a permanent house slave. Your job is to suffer in this place and to serve whatever master comes to this place. And like I said, most masters, think of most human beings. Most human beings, imagine a place where you can have just about anything you want. You have a slave that is required by the law of the place to do anything, just about anything you ask of him. Most people are going to take advantage of that. Most people are going to do horrendous things with that. And Astrian has said there's very few people he's had that have been kind to him. And it's hard when you've dealt with so much heartache, when you've dealt with so much pain, when you've dealt with seeing so much of the horrible base primal instincts of the human psyche, it's hard for you to look and be hopeful and say and see the goodness, the outlying goodness in humanity, the outlying goodness in people. It's hard. It's very hard, and I can understand where Astrian's coming from. He can't. This is centuries that he's dealt with this. You know, millennia that he's dealt with this. Yes, power leadership is a really dangerous thing. As Tendo said, that's a very dangerous thing. It is very, very, very rare in history to find leaders who had extreme power, had massive amounts of power, and were leaders of powerful countries or powerful armies, and were benevolent with it. Even the ones that were, at some point, used that power, that leadership, that control they had over people for malevolent things. At some point, even if most of the things they did benevolent, at some point they've done malevolent things with it. It's very hard. Power is, like many people say, power is a curse. Having a lot of power and being able to use it to lead people properly is a very, very rare thing. It happens. It's happened in history, but you'll read through a textbook, and I'm telling you, it'll be little snatches of paragraphs that have actual leaders that are actually good leaders that are still to this day considered good leaders that actually made the world a better place, sadly. So I can understand where Astrian's coming from. It's sad to say, but it's true. It's very rare that you get people who use their power and their leadership for good, or at least keep it that way. Like, you know, you've had benevolent leaders who have started off as amazing benevolent leaders that, you know, wanted to make the world a better place and did things to make the world a better place and kept it that way. Because a lot of them over time became corrupted. A lot of those people over time became corrupted and either died hated or ended up being overthrown. It happens. And exactly, you have to remember too, not only that, also like Tendo said, propaganda, and don't forget, history is usually written by the victors. It's, you know, we get little snippets of stuff written by non-victors, but most times when wars are won, the winning side's the one that's going to be portrayed in a positive light, no matter the horrendous or heinous acts they did, and the losers are going to be portrayed as horrible, terrible people, and, you know, not people that were fighting for survival, but people that were fighting for the survival, but people that were just fighting because they were evil and nasty and mean, and they hated all that was good in the world. That happens nowadays in the wars we're fighting. Not wars. America fights. The conflicts that we fight in. Even now we see propaganda on the internet, on the news, media, with police right now. You see it even now. So it's something that still happens. I'm sorry though. I wasn't trying to give you a history lesson. I was just saying I can understand where Astrian's coming from. You could have given into your baser urges to become a man. A boy sacrificed part of his potential to harm. Sorry. Those small unbinding ideas that grit your teeth. Decisions. To become a man, a boy sacrificed. I don't know which one to choose. I feel like just go with you could have given to your baser urges. Decision just seemed like I'm not sure of anything. These small unbound ideas that grit your teeth. That sounds like anger. To become a man, a boy sacrificed part of intention to harm. Kindness. But the first one sounded like kindness. I'm going to go with you could have given to your baser urges. I'm just going to give it to that. There was a moment not too long ago where you could have given into your baser urges. Indeed, the potential for violence exists in all humans. It lurks in leaps and unexpected movements. It can take hold of one's eyes and pull one too hard, twist, kill for the sheer curiosity of it. But that time is gone. Your choices ward you against such thoughts. So rise, kind master, and reveal yourself. I am afraid you misunderstand who I am. You are human. So are you. Haven't we discussed this before? What you were asking of me... No, that's me. What you were asking of me, I refuse to do it. It is not a matter of what I am, what a human is. It's about who I am. I have been kind to you, Astrid. We have not known each other for long, but I'm not just humoring you or making fun of you to call you my friend. Well, you want me to just end your down and hurt you? I don't know what previous masters might have done or how they acted, but for my part, I just don't have it in me. I won't hurt you, and I don't say this as an act of kindness or charity. It's just who I am. So if I was to be firm with you about anything, it should be this. No, I won't. Maybe you are right in the sense that the pain I inflict on you is more bearable than the distress you feel, but I'm not that man. I will not give up from what I believe is right. Being kind to you isn't a game. It's just basic. It's decent. It just is. Do you consider me a friend, Astrian? I realize this is a tricky question. The power I have over you is nothing short of absolute. But listen to what I said. I will not hurt you. This is not charity or mercy. It is the right thing, and I will stand by it even if I have to shackle myself to do it. His breath hitches at the mention of shackle. But I must ask a question. What we have gone through so far, was all of it a master and servant going through the motions? It really does. This game really does get like real deep, really philosophical. Or was it you and I, Astrian and Mark? The Minotaur blinks and feels the velvet around them the night before, when they embraced, how he forgot the sound of his own footsteps. You told me about the hotel's mission, to give a place to those who have nowhere to go. I am telling you right here, right now, unequivocally, that I swear by it. I will hold on to the mission. And you don't have anywhere to go either. So this place should be a place for you too. I won't hurt you. The Minotaur's cheek deforms, he bites on it. He sinks his nails into his own forearm and drags them as if twisting his skin. He draws a breath. Oh, Lord of Guests, he thinks. What devising sent this man to me? Fates, is he yet another of the trials devised to break me? Or Lady Shia, have you taken pity on me one last time? Or was it your grace, earth-shattering Poseidon? Please give me a sign that this is true, and not yet another suffering I must endure. We can do this together, but I must ask something of you. Oh, Tendo, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna be outright. This VN's not for everyone. I think at times, and you know, love or hate it, if you're not into reading novels, this is not a VN for you. This novel has a very old poetry-like style of writing. I don't mind it because, again, I've read a lot of classical novels and poems. I don't mind it, but it's not for everyone. It's not near the level of Four Letter Word, but Four Letter Word was kind of like that. Four Letter Word does a lot of dialogue, but more of the writing is describing every single thing that happens in that VN. It just in the visual novel, it goes into real great lengths to explicitly describe to the viewer, and that's not for everyone. I know Ookie Cookie didn't like it, and that's fine. I completely understand that. Like this, same thing. If you're not really into floral type of writing, this isn't for you. It's very, hopefully people understand what I say when it's a very floral type of writing, and that's not for everyone, and that's fine. I understand that. We can do this together, but I must ask something of you. See me as myself, Mark, and not as master. Wasn't I telling you about making us into partners? What was it you told me? That the labyrinth would make it official? A few times you referred to this whole land as the labyrinth, right? I suppose that's what it was meant to be called. But I don't see much of a labyrinth. This is clearly a hotel. That is the truth you built, and even if there are contracts and laws beneath it, it won't stop being a hotel. So does it matter what it's called? What word we give it? Don't the facts take precedence? So fuck the labyrinth and its rules. We'll order the facts and that makes reality. We don't need a contract to make things work. We could just do it. Say you are my business partner, go with it, and before long everyone will believe it. Because it's the truth. More of it than any piece of paper will ever be. If my word means something, if I can stick to my promise, then you can and will be my partner.
The roaring, overpowering silence wrenches the Minotaur's heart, crushes his lung, and washes away anything Mark could say. He coughs, but doesn't notice it when he opens his eyes. What's going on, Andragos? You aren't supposed to cry this early. You haven't even heard my speech. We will have all the time to catch up once I save you, little star. Now don't worry. You've made quite a mess, but I know you better than you know yourself. I'll show the excellences just what kind of person you were and are. By the weight of my words and the value of my promises, it won't be long before we are walking away from here, my brother. Your excellences, may I begin? Is Mark a reincarnation? I'm wondering if the MC is a reincarnation of his brother. Hopefully not, because I would like him to be his own character, but at the same time, that would be really interesting. No, he did not cry. He did not anger the gods. He did not get shipped to 100 different labyrinths. And during that night when his guard visited, he did not reject his request. Forsake the labyrinth. We can worship the gods all the same, pay their due respect in our own hearth, and build a shrine around it. If my words and promises ever carried weight, then come, Ashrin, and I will take you as my brother. Oh, God, he's gonna cry. Oh, he's gonna cry, isn't he? Yes. The Minotaur looks at you as if your face caught him off guard, just as reality itself roars back into his mind. He draws a breath, but this time it does not hitch. In fact, it overcomes all the stagnant air, a lungful so fresh it brings a wetness to one's eyes. I am sorry for my disrespect. I was inconsiderate during our conversation, Mark. There is no reason to be sorry. I would appreciate it if you spoke to me with this frankness more often. I am afraid I can't take another conversation like this so soon, Mark. This has been the hardest thing I've done since. Let's not go there. Indeed, no reason to pick those old memories. I will need some time. What, you're talking about the sprite where he's like, by the gods! Like, Ashley just has like, by the gods! have thy gods forsaken me? It's like, it's kind of, actually makes me laugh a little bit. It's supposed to be him startled, but it's kind of funny. That is no issue. We have all the time in the world, right? We do. I had a feeling that was the one, because that one made me laugh the first time. Oh, he's blushing! Save the screenshot, please. Oh, I gotta work on my stories. Oh, I don't have time today. I'm working on a fan fiction. And yes, I know it's a fan fiction, but I'm working on a fan fiction. So I don't work fan fictions, but I'm working on it just to get back into writing. I haven't written a story in 2 months. I'm working back. And man, I really just, stuff like this makes me so happy. It makes me want to write. And I'm just like, I don't have time. I gotta go to work today. I don't have time to do it. Damn it. I really wanted to work on the story today. I definitely will let you guys know when I post the story. It's almost done. The first draft is. I got to go over it and make sure the pacing is fine and stuff. It's going to be pretty long, though. It's been a pretty long story, though, actually. I remember you mentioning when I reminded you of a friend. Is that the Neos fellow you talked about earlier? The Minotaur looks down to his hands. His right settles on the top of the left, scratches it. His nails digging as if trying to unearth his veins. Am I allowed to ask you why I reminded you of him? You are the master, of course you are. Please stop that. I am a person. Just treat me like one. None of this is about orders this, master that. Oh wait, none of this is about orders this, master that. If you want to answer, it's fine. That's the end of it. It's because of things like this that you remind me of him. He was my guard. That was his official job, but in truth he was my friend and playmate first. He was assigned to me when we were both children. The way you talk, the things you speak, your disregard for hierarchy, the way you look at me, I have caught myself thinking as if you were him. If Neos had been a master, would he have been like the others? Would he have harmed you? No, there's nothing in the world I am more certain about than that. Why are you so sure he would? His expression here is kind of humorous too. He looks more annoyed than like mad or upset. Why are you so sure he wouldn't do it? He wasn't that kind of man. It never crossed his mind. Astria knocks his knuckles on the wooden table. He licks his lips, and this time his tongue leaves a sheen of saliva. His eyes alternate from looking at you to deliberate, drawn-out blinks. He draws a breath, then lays both his hands on the table. He breathes out, and his arms inch a bit further. It's such a small distance, no more than an arm's length. In fact, it is almost cramped, as if you had yet to contain yourself to a nook of the room. I'm gonna give him space. The way he's acting, let's give him space. He has our support, he knows it, let's give him space. You get up and return to the kitchen. There are still a handful of little tasks to do. Washing dishes, cleaning the countertops, stashing away ingredients. Not long afterwards, the Minotaur retreats to his room. You refrain from interrupting his peace for long as possible. But hours later, you remember Luke's offer to stargaze. Perhaps it would be for the best allowing Astrid some time alone. He doesn't have to go out if he doesn't want to. While you're dressing yourself, however, he comes out of his room. Are you going out? Yes, Luke invited us to some stargazing tonight, remember? You don't have to come if you don't want to. Yes, I was meaning to ask something about this. Would you, or perhaps Luke, mind if I brought my lyre along? I'm sure we'd all appreciate your songs. A night with friends? Indeed. I'll only need a minute to get ready. I'll wait for you. I love the tank top on Astrian, by the way. And we're gonna stop. Nope. I know everybody's waiting for the seed. I gotta stop. It's getting late. I gotta go to work tonight. I'm sorry. Oh, Toy Story. Toy Story's back. We got the Pixar music again. I can't wait to do the Kobold voices because they're gonna be so fun to do. But I gotta stop. I'm sorry. I gotta save. I'm sorry. I gotta go. We streamed for a while. I streamed for a while though, didn't I? No play more. Yeah, no play more. I'm sorry. No, oh wait, no, I can't. I gotta go to work tonight, Jason. I'm sorry. I have to go to work tonight. I'm really sorry. I promise. I will definitely get to streaming again next week after I take care of Changeling Tale. Because Changeling Tale, I'm really excited to get back into. But I definitely will stream this sometime next week. I promise. I promise you. I gotta go though. I got work tonight. It's getting late. I gotta get ready. I gotta eat dinner. I gotta get ready for work. Well, thank you everyone for showing up for the stream, though. A lot of people I showed up. I think this is the most people I've had, concurrent viewers I've had in the stream. I had 13 at one point. I think the peak was 13. Most I've ever had in the stream. I'm really glad people enjoyed this VN. I like sharing the work, and yeah. I will see everyone later. It was nice having a discussion about other VNs, and Little Napoleon, thank you so much for stopping by. I really hope I didn't butcher voices for you. I'm trying my best here. I really do want to get into voice acting in a sort of like a little more in the hobby way, but not quite like a permanent role. But I really do like voice acting a lot, and it's something it's something I'm working on. I'm actually supposed to be getting an XLR mic. I'm trying to get one as soon as possible. So, with that being said, everyone, if you really like this video, don't forget comment, like, subscribe. Don't forget to download the demo for yourself to give it a try. You can make your own choices. Don't forget to give the creator some love. They're on Twitter. You can talk to them. Tell them that, hey, you saw my video. You saw Fallenwolf's video. You really love their VN. Keep up the good work. But like I said, and also if you know other people that like VNs or other people like furry games, let them know about this channel. I will definitely be doing a lot more of this channel over time. This year is going to be the big year for YouTube for me. So with that being said, though, I love each and every one of you. Mwah, mwah. Take care, and I'll see you next time on the next lovely video or stream or whatever thing I decide to do. Take care, everyone. Bye.